Welcome back to Better Than a Pill. And today I'm here with Amanda Yu, our functional medicine practitioner, and Shannon Davis, our registered dietitian, and both specialize in metabolic health, insulin resistance, and chronic disease. And we're going to be talking all about statins today. But before I jump into that, I just want to give credit to God for this podcast. I just want to thank him because I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. So I'm super grateful that we can be here today to get out truth into the world that the world needs to hear. So we're going to dive into this and we're going to talk all about this. So cardiovascular disease is on the rise. And I want you guys to speak a little bit more about that. I know you're aware of all the statistics.
Yes, absolutely. I'll go first. Yes, cardiovascular disease is still the number one cause of death as of today, despite of the medications, the use of statins, but it's still listed as number one. And other chronic health issues that are related, also on the rise: Alzheimer, cancer, obesity, type 2 diabetes. All these metabolic health dysfunctions are all on the rise, despite of all the medications that are available to us. As a pharmacist, I dispense these medications on a regular basis. Statin is on the top of the most prescribed medications on there: statins, metformin, and a list of blood pressure medications.
What is a statin? I'm sorry, I'm going to go real. Some people may not understand. That's for cholesterol. We're talking for cholesterol, right?
Correct. Go ahead, Shannon. I'll let you speak.
I was going to say, so heart disease is still the number one killer, but what we don't talk about is what is the number one cause of heart disease? Type 2 diabetes. And so the issue still stems back to what we've talked about in some of your other podcasts, Carrie, is insulin resistance, just like what Amanda has behind her. So the deal with heart disease is it's been blamed, fat and plaque and blocked arteries have been blamed for heart disease, right? Eating animal fat has been blamed. LDL has been blamed for heart disease. And what we're finding out is no, LDL is not the bad guy. LDL isn't even cholesterol, Carrie. It's a lipoprotein. It's basically a taxi cab. It's not even cholesterol. And the fact that people think, that like when you set bacon on the counter and it solidifies, that's what people think happens inside your arteries when you eat animal fat. But even if we say, okay, that could happen, what happens when you heat that animal fat? It liquefies. What temperature is our body? 98.6 degrees. So even if that saturated fat was floating through our bloodstream, it would be liquid. It's not going to be solid and clog up like solid bacon fat. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, so the statin, so we're using them to treat it primarily. Am I correct in saying cholesterol?
Yeah, primary is the LDL, which is not even, LDL doesn't determine cardiovascular risk. There are more to LDL. You can't, if you go see your doctor, if they see your LDL as elevated as like 100 or over 100, automatically they want you to take a statin. So what statin does, it blocks an enzyme in the liver to reduce the productions of what's considered the bad cholesterol. But that's not really the bad cholesterol. The bad cholesterol is triglycerides, not even LDL. The oxidized part of LDL is what causes plaque formation, which is the triglyceride. So instead of looking at LDL, why don't we look at what truly is the cause of heart disease, plaque formation, which is triglyceride? And you want to look at triglyceride over HDL ratio. That's a better biomarkers than just looking at LDL, which encompass the part of the good cholesterol and the bad cholesterol. Mm-hmm. Just because it's elevated, what if you have high level of the good cholesterol? And what statin does, it actually inhibits the good part of cholesterol rather than the oxidized part of it. And we need the good part of it for our brain function, for our immune function, for hormone productions, just like Shannon said. it's a transporter, right? It's a vehicle. It's
Yep. And
So-
what they're finding now, the lower your cholesterol, the shorter your life. Like cholesterol, like your immune system is suppressed. The lower we smash it, we see diabetes, type 2 diabetes. We see dementia and Alzheimer's. We see zero interest in sex. Like you lose all sexual interest and able to do that. You get muscle weakness and you deplete your heart of CoQ10, chronic kidney disease. All of these things are side effects of a statin. And Amanda can speak on this, but statins only give you 3 extra days to your life. Its statins only lower your risk of a cardiac event by 1%. Nobody talks about that.
And then where's the side effects is like Shannon said, muscle. And it directly increases your HbA1c, your glucose levels, which put you at risk for type 2 diabetes. And we know that there are plenty of research and studies that link type 2 diabetes to cardiovascular disease. And
I'm sorry, as we're talking about this, I know I've had clients in the past say to me they've had other side effects from statins, and I can't even recall, but some of them I think were quite scary where they were taken off. And I'm in pain-free movement, so I think it had to do with something related to their body and pain or something. So there's a lot of side effects. Big surprise, a lot of side effects for taking a drug, a statin. But and so they're just serving you to keep a number low.
Yeah. Like they have a target, so keep a number in a certain range or below a certain level, but not really looking at the whole body systems, right? Just recently, I have a friend's dad whose LDL's 45, total cholesterol was 146. He had a stroke and ended up in the hospital, and he has Alzheimer's, dementia. So look, these numbers are perfect according to conventional markers, and yet my mother-in-law, who like triglyceride, I was able to help her to reduce from 242 to 99, and her LDL is above 100. Her total cholesterol is at 300. Her doctor wants to put her on statin, but she's fine. She walks every day. She got off her wheelchair. When her LDL was lower, her total cholesterol was lower. She had cancer. She had type 2 diabetes. She was obese. She was inflamed. Her foot was not healing. She was wheelchair bound. Now that her triglyceride is lower, her HDL is higher, her LDL is lower, her total cholesterol is higher. I mean, her LDL is higher. And she's not on statin, and she's walking every day. And she looks amazing. She has energy, and her foot.
They're lowering the numbers, the goal for cholesterol. It keeps getting lower. If we look back 20 years, 30 years before statins, it was in the upper 200s, close to 300 was a normal range for cholesterol. And then statins came on the market. So the lower you make your cholesterol range, the more people that need to take a statin.
And they're not good. And so let me ask you this. So because I know we've talked about this, and although I know like a lot of people listening, it takes a lot of repetition sometimes for it to sink in. So I'm going to ask you guys again. I know that. So when we're looking at numbers, when we go to the doctors, what you're saying is look for triglycerides divided by HDL, and then let me know what number should we be looking for, because the doctor's not going to tell us this, right? Okay. So let's get the truth out here today. What do we need to be looking for then?
Ideally, you want 1-to-1 ratio. That's ideal, right? But below 1.5, it's good. Ideally, you want 1-to-1. You want triglyceride to HDL to be 1-to-1. Ideally. But many people are way above 1.5. So, if you can get it to be below 1.5, that is good. That's considered good.
Yep. Triglycerides below 100 and HDL as high as possible.
Okay, that's helpful. So what I've heard, just to repeat for everybody listening, is that the ratio should be 1-to-1 or lower than 1.5, triglycerides lower than 100, and HDL as high as we can, which makes sense because that's the good stuff. Okay. Okay. That makes sense to me. Okay. Now I am catching on a little bit, and I think a lot of our listeners may be too. So there's some underlying causes going on here, and I'm going to guess that insulin sensitivity may be linked to some of the things going on in our body. So let's talk about like that. And then like what can we do if we're not going to take a statin? That the product that I am now using in my body that I'm a fan of for so many reasons has a lot of different metabolic and chronic disease, positive effects for those things. And so that also includes our statin health. So let's dive into all of that. Sorry, guys, I'm getting it all out at once here.
No, it's perfect. Perfect. I'll talk a little bit about like lifestyle modifications. I'll let Amanda hit the Feel Great system. So really, again, we go back to that factor, insulin resistance. So if we can target that, not only will cholesterol improve, but all of these other parameters. So you're really like killing 10 birds with one stone. Hypertension, PCOS, erectile dysfunctional skin tags, fatty liver, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, all of these, diabetes, obesity are all an insulin problem. So time restricted eating, otherwise known as intermittent fasting, is a great tool. And Carrie, a lot of people are afraid of that. I'm not talking about a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day fast. I'm talking about 12 to 16 hours.
Yes. And I love when you say this. And I think this is really important for people to hear. That can really even mean 3 meals a day, no snacking to start.
Right.
3 meals a day, no snacking.
Yep. Yep. Even if you start there with the goal of, and this is super important, Carrie, it's really, if you want to eat 3 meals a day, if you can compress them into a smaller eating window, that's the goal, right? It's just eating less frequently and then focusing on real whole foods, fiber, protein, and healthy fats, eliminating the boxes, the bags, the barcodes, the highly processed, ultra processed foods, the sugars, the carbohydrates, and focusing on plants like vegetables that are above the ground, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, those type of things, focusing on foods high in protein, chicken, fish, beef, pork, eggs, without fearing the fat that comes in that. Don't get rid of that yolk. That's good fat. Don't worry about the fat that's in that beef. It's good fat. And then we always encourage you to tools when making those changes are hard. And that's what Amanda's going to talk about. We are big fans of something called the Feel Great system.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Feel Great system makes intermittent fasting easy. For some people, intermittent fasting can be very hard because I've been practicing intermittent fasting in the past and it was a challenge. And for my husband, he wasn't able to do it because hungers always win. He always need to snack. So this is when this tea here, this is a concentrated yerba mate tea. This helps to shut off the food noise so that you can practice intermittent fasting so that you don't think about the food. It's very simple. It's a simple protocol. You wake up in the morning and you pretty much just mix one of this package into about 30 ounces, 20 to 30 ounces of water, warm or cold, and you just sip that throughout the morning. And that'll be your breakfast. And if you feel really hungry when you first started, you can break your fast. Maybe just try to push your breakfast back a few hours when you start with the goal to try to reach 16 hours, 16:8 or 18:6, meaning that you want to have your eating window within 6 hours or 8 hours. That doesn't mean some people say, oh, Amanda, I'm going to eat all day during those 6 to 8 hours. I'm just going to snack throughout those time. No, it does not mean that. It means you can fit 2 meals into that time slot, or like Shannon said, you can put 3 meals into that time slot, that eating window. And then for me, I wake up in the morning, I drink 1 packet. Mid-morning, I drink another packet. I break my fast around 1 o'clock. And then before your biggest meal, you mix this fiber. This is a fiber matrix. Mix it with cold water and drink it right away. So the fiber, you want to drink it right away prior to eating. And this will help it forms bulk. And not only that, it feeds your gut microbiome. So this is a prebiotic. It's soluble and insoluble fiber. It feeds the gut microbiome. And it helps to make you, it forms a bulk. So it makes you feel fuller faster and it keeps you fuller longer. And not only that, it slows down the absorptions of carbs and glucose. So it prevents that post-meal glucose spike. And studies have shown that this also decreases your triglyceride. And I know Shannon and I personally have reduced our triglyceride tremendously.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. I got on the product and my triglycerides were 250 and my HDL was 53. In 8 weeks, my HDL went up to 122 from 53 and my
Wow.
triglycerides went from 250 to 50.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's thanks to
Wonderful.
nothing else, Carrie, except added these wonderful supplements.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's amazing. So what I love is that because the supplements have so many benefits
Yeah.
that I personally, again, I'm going to get my ratio and everything checked next time I'm at the doctor, but I personally don't struggle with the cholesterol that I'm aware of right now. So I'm using them for different reasons. But this is so eye opening because there's just so many benefits, and that's huge. Those numbers we're talking about statins today, and look, if you could take something that is better than a pill, would you? Let's just get that out there. Everybody has a choice. Everybody has a choice. We all have choices to make. And we want to get information out there into the world about this stuff. That's, to me, that's very powerful right there. And for me, and just my experience taking the product, and I've been taking it since July. I love it. And again, another episode, we can get into Carrie stuff. I love be able to wait how it helps me with my mental clarity and energy levels so that I can start my day with the drink. I don't feel, I can see how that all plays in. But my point is that we're taking the supplement is also providing our body with nutrients. And that's a big thing here that I talk about and I believe in, is that we're using it as I feel a sense of peace, taking something that's going to nourish my body and give it many other benefits. So it's not just a little drink, a sugar-free drink or something like that, where we're just trying to not get hungry, right?
Right.
It's way more powerful. And so with this topic of statins, this is eye-opening. I know for a lot of people listening, there are natural ways to do this. So I don't know. This has been awesome information. Before we wrap it up, do you guys have anything else you want to share?
Yes, I just want to close with this, that statin does not target triglyceride. Statin has no effect on triglyceride. Triglyceride is the oxidized LDL. Triglyceride is the harmful lipoprotein, and statin does not affect triglyceride. So I just want to say that. And
Wow. That's powerful.
And this does naturally. And that's why doctors don't talk about triglycerides, because there's no medication really. There's very few, one, and it's terrible.
Yeah, there's one or two, but they're not very effective. So I rarely dispense them anymore. Whereas statins, I dispense them every single day. And for every statin that I dispense, there's a blood pressure medication that goes with it and a diabetes medication that goes with it. Oftentimes, those three goes together.
Yes. Amanda knows because she's a functional medicine practitioner undercover as a pharmacist. And so you're seeing all this firsthand and on a daily basis. And thank you. And for those of you that are listening and can't see, what they're referring to is the product. So the Unimate and the Balance System. And I want to say that those links will be included in the description here for the Feel Great system. So you can take a look at it yourself. And if you are at the place in your life where you're ready to make a change for the better and you want to get off the statins, I highly encourage you to pursue that today. Also, if you're listening and you're struggling with back pain or muscle pain or stiffness, I'm ready to connect with you. If you're ready to live pain-free and start enjoying the things you love, I'm here. So I have, you guys know, 26 years of experience. I know I'm getting old, to help improve health and alleviate back pain, whatever it is, other discomforts. And I can give you personalized insights, strategies so that you can say goodbye to the fear of injury and hello to a life with less pain. So you can schedule your consultation today by clicking the link in the episode as well, or reach out to support@movementcraft.com. And because you guys are listeners of the Better Than a Pill podcast, you get an exclusive 50% savings. Just let us know you're a listener. So anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thanking Amanda, thanking Shannon. This great conversation as usual. And we release new episodes every other week on Wednesday. And I look forward to having you join us then.